If you like painting and saving, ask Sherwin-Williams and save 40% on paints and stains during our 4-day super sale, April 11th through the 14th. With 40% off our great paints and stains and 30% off painting supplies, you can give your whole home a color makeover. But hurry, these savings are so super, they won't be around for long. Find your nearest store at sherwinwilliams.com/sale. Retail sales only, some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Blog Talk Radio.
This is Clarence Cloverleaf, welcoming you to Cloverleaf Radio. Remember, you can always dial in at 646-716-4378. We call to watch your language, please, as we are an all-ages program. But we would be delighted if you would sign up for a Blog Talk Radio account, should you so desire.
The host with the most, Jimmy Falcon, and the gorgeous ladies of wrestling's Kremlina welcome possibly the biggest guest in history. Cloverleaf radio history, that is. Nope, it's not Medusa the Snake Woman, or even Bert and Ernie. It's Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick. Join Cloverleaf Radio for this magnificent show of shows on September 25th, 2013, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific, and 6 on the Eastern Coast. It's worth checking out everything you hear, but you wouldn't just believe anyone. So here I am, the long, mysterious Cloverleaf VO guy, giving you the lowdown. Special thanks to EM at Onyx Moon Agency. www.onyxmoonagency.com and www.blogtalkradio.com/Cloverleaf Radio. Be there.
Alrighty, we're back, and I am the host with the most, Jimmy Falcon. Grimlina's by my side, and Butch Patrick's on with us.
Awesome!
Yes, I am. Hello.
Wow, Butch, isn't this a huge honor for you? I mean, isn't this just the biggest honor of the whole year for you?
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Well, we
Jim,
really thank you as well.
Real quick?
Oh, God, hurry up, Grimlina. Don't take over.
Butch, somebody wanted me to do hello and said they've been enjoying your conversation. Steve Perry from Rhode Island Comic-Con told me to say hi.
Oh, the Rhode Island Comic-Con. Yeah, I might be up there next year sometime. A friend of mine was talking to the promoter of that. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, you'll love it. I'm a two-time guest. It's fabulous. The people are great. They treat you right. You'll love it.
All right. Well, then I look forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I was going to get started with the questions. I thought I'd kind of go backwards and hopefully ask you something no one had ever asked you before.
Okay.
I've heard, of course, I know that you're a pretty funny guy, and hopefully this proves it. Who is one person you would pick to be left alone with if you were shipwrecked on Gilligan's Island?
Well, if it was back in the Gilligan's Island heyday, it would be Don Wells.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sure a lot of people could agree to that one.
Absolutely.
And I know that you're, only in your mid-20s, wink, wink, but you still have some problems with acne, I've heard, which I was really bad as a kid, and it's getting a little better. I mean, how were you able to get past this when you were in your prime on the Munsters?
Just take the makeup off and use a good stringent.
Oh,
Might have helped that I did a Clearasil commercial, but I wasn't the pimple popper. I was the photographer for the pimple poppers.
Oh.
Very interesting. And I know, since I got the Munsters question at the very bottom, I was going to ask you, what were your fondest memories of working on the film Dickie Roberts, former child star, and getting to sing with what I would consider the best of the best in child acting?
Going home at the end of the day. Luckily, it was only a 2-day shoot. It was a lot. Actually, the fun part was seeing a lot of old friends all in one place.
Oh, yeah, I mean, gosh, Danny Bonaducci and the Lost Boys. I think I can't even remember them all. It was so much, quite a few years ago, I guess. So,
Actually, what was a good thing about that day is I never met David Spade before, and he and I had lunch together, and it was fun talking to him about his career because he's done a lot of things that I really enjoyed. So he was very nice, and that was probably made the trip worthwhile.
Wow, that's very cool. I've heard mixed feelings on him, but I mean, for the most part, they've all been good. So I guess you got to stick with the good in people and forget about the possible naysayers.
Mm-hmm.
Grimlina, do you have a comment or another question or?
Yeah.
Because I have a ton, I'll give them to you. I'll give you one.
Hi, thank you, darling. You were such a big part of my childhood. Jimmy saw you in reruns. I was there because I was born in '64. And I saw it, not from the beginning, but I was there. I had a crush on Eddie Munster as a kid. I thought you were adorable.
Well, thank you very much. It was. I have a lot of people come up and say they had a crush on Eddie Munster. I guess a lot of people were lonely and watching television.
Well, yeah, true. But no, I mean, the way you did the character, it was just adorable. And
thank you.
It helped me years later when I developed the Gremlin character. I didn't want to be. I know I was supposed to be evil and vicious, but I took a page out of your book. A mean character can be cute and cuddly and nice too, and it really works. And
yeah, he was a regular. He was a regular kid,
Yeah, and that's what was so endearing about him. And I just want to thank you for all the wonderful childhood memories. And I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to steal this probably from Jimmy, how did you get the job on the Munsters?
How did I get the job?
Yes.
Was that the question? Yeah, I was. I had done 2 series before that. I did a year of the original General Hospital in '62, and then I did a year of the Real McCoys in '63. And I was living I believe I was in Illinois, a little town called Geneseo near Moline. And I was living there with my grandmother, and they had looked at all the kids. They had actually gotten it down to a kid named Happy Thurman they had picked to be Eddie, and they just weren't happy apparently at the end. So they put Devon DiCarlo and myself, they flew me in for a screen test, and we both were hired on the spot. So that's how I came to be Eddie Munster.
Awesome.
Well, that's very cool. No, I actually didn't steal it, Grimlina. Mine's a little different, but oh well, we'll get there. I know that you're invited to be a guest at a lot of car shows, and I've heard you're actually a fan of a lot of different cars. What have been some of your favorite cars you've got to see at these shows or that you have owned personally?
Well, I've done a lot of car shows because the Munsters had the Munster Coach and the Dragula, and they were like the first hot rods on television. So they like to have me come out as a guest because most hot rodders enjoy the Munsters. But the fact for me, my first car was probably always my favorite. It was a 69 Mach 1 Mustang that I loved. And then after that, I got a 427 L88 Corvette back there in the early 70s. As far as all-time cars that I would like to own or get a hand on, I'd love to have a Hemi Cuda. Would be a wish list car, and maybe a GT40.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'd send cars down to Australia. I actually have a company called Munster Muscle, and we right now I've got a Cadillac Eldorado down there. I've got a Mustang convertible down there. I've got my Harleys there. 64 Ford 289 wagons down there. So I move a lot of cars to Australia as well. It's kind of like a sidebar / job for me.
Wow. Cool. I don't know why I didn't see you having all these awesome vehicles in another country. I would not see. I don't know. I didn't see it, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I went down there for a vacation, and while I was there visiting a friend, that's what he does for a living, and I sold the 2 cars I had at the time, which was a 65 Mustang and a 67 SS Impala. So those both brought good money, and I decided that this would be an interesting thing to do.
I love the 67 Impala.
Yeah, it was a nice car. It was white with a candy apple red interior with a nice stroker motor in it. It was a fast car. It was pretty cool.
Oh, my baby!
Yeah, I thought I would mention, Butch, that I was able to meet George Barris last year out in Hollywood. I was able to attend the Adam West Walk of Fame ceremony, and I knew that he had something to do with some of the designs on Dragula and the Munster coach. I thought I'd throw that one.
Yeah, no, he made them all. He made them all. In fact, he's going to be at a car show this Sunday with me here in Long Island. I see George quite often. He's a great guy, and one of the highlights of my childhood was when I would be able to leave the set, go out for lunch, and leave the lot, and go visit George at his shop back when I was doing the Munsters. And I saw Sonny and Cher's Mustangs being built, and Frank Sinatra's Stutz's, and Elvis's Cadillacs, and all that kind of stuff. George is great.
Yeah, very down-to-earth guy, and I mean, very down-to-earth. Now, before I go into the Munsters, what's the most current project that you would like to discuss, or any upcoming signings or anything? We'd love to have a look.
You can go to my website, which is munsters.com. Has all the signings and all my scheduling and stuff there. That's the easiest way for people to find that. But what I really am excited about is yesterday was the 49th anniversary of the Munsters airing on CBS, September 24th. And what I'm working on right now is for next September 24th, we're going to release a book, and it's going to be a coffin table book, which is going to be nothing but fans and the stories from the fans about what the Munsters meant to them. We're going to have 13 chapters with 13 stories per chapter, playing on the address that everybody knows as 1313 Mockingbird Lane. And when I do autograph shows, I've been so impressed with how many people come up with warm memories and warm stories of what the Munsters meant to them that I thought it might be nice to put it into a book form for the fans and for a perfect gift for people that would like to buy something for that Munster fan in their Christmas list. And it'll be out next September 24th. So that is very exciting for me.
That's going to be awesome. A definite must get.
Well, it'll be great. What we're going to do is we'll have the input from the fans, as I said. Everybody, even if I don't use their story, I'm going to acknowledge them in the back of the book. There's going to be several pages of people who submitted stuff, even if it doesn't work, which is good. The fact that it's going to be a coffee table book and be called a coffin table book, obviously. There's going to be a lot of pictures people have never seen. I will take all the stories and kind of lace them together into a cohesive book. But I've already got a publisher, and the stories are flying in, so I'm very happy that there's so many people out there that have fond memories of the show. They're watching it with their grandkids, their kids, and their kids' kids now. So it's great. There's not a lot of shows that can have a staying power of 50 years and still be popular with the younger generation.
That's why I was getting across to Grimlina a couple of days ago. She mentioned watching it when she was a kid, and then it got to like 1991, and I was watching it with my grandparents. So really, it does span, 5 generations. It's really interesting, and it's still going.
And
it does, and you can always tell you can always tell a popular show when they keep reissuing the licenses for T-shirts and dolls and things of that nature. So, or when Walmart uses the Munsters theme in their Halloween promotions and marketing schemes, you're on solid ground.
Well, Jimmy, the thing is, it was well written. You didn't need gratuitous violence or sex or shock value. It was something the whole family could sit around and watch in the evenings or afternoons. And it was just good.
Well, people will ask me what do I attribute or what do I think the reason for the staying power is, and it was a period which was really good. In number one, the comedy writing was great. TV was still in its somewhat infancy. It wasn't the golden age, but it was certainly the silver age, in my opinion. And the writers were writing such great scripts because everything could be written for, like, I call them escapism shows, which were, I did 2 Mr. Eds, I did a My Favorite Martian, I did an I Dream of Jeannie, I did the Munsters. So these were shows that obviously weren't based in reality. Bewitched, My Mother the Car, all these type of shows were just written for pure entertainment value by very smart writers who were early in their careers that were writing for some very good shows. And then later in the 60s, it became cop shows, lawyer shows, doctor shows, literally reality of what people were doing during the day. So I think people really enjoyed the fact they would come home at 7:30 at night, get a TV tray out, get the kids around the television set, and all watch something together, whether it was the Beverly Hillbillies or the Munsters or the Addams Family and things like that.
Yeah, those types of shows and the Gilligan's Islands and
yes,
I Agree with Genies, and they're still really popular with the box sets and the nostalgia crowd. Yeah, people my age
Absolutely.
into it.
Oh, I mean, I'm a huge fan of. I love Twilight Zones too. There was good stuff going on that wasn't comedy. That was very, what if this could happen and what if that could happen. And the old Alfred Hitchcocks were very good back then. There was a lot of good programming going on aside from comedy. I mean, Perry Mason was a great lawyer show. I love that show.
It was intelligent.
I did it on Untouchables. I remember doing the Untouchables and Ben Casey and a few other things. And then we had some great westerns in the early '60s too. I did a Rawhide and a few other things in Bonanzas and Gunsmokes.
Half Gun Will Travel.
Yeah.
It was
that?
I call it intelligent television because it really was.
Oh, okay. Well, it shows that a good storyline would work, and it was funny for the Munsters because, a typical script that would, a situation that would not be funny for a typical normal family became very funny when Herman Munster and Grandpa Munster were involved in the storyline. It just became funny because of, obviously, the nature of who they were. And having a dragon under the stairs didn't hurt.
I love dragons. In my fairy tales, the dragons always win.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to read any of those books. You're going to scare Butch, Gremlina. Let me get my question out before he starts crying and hangs up.
Mike was a cool dragon.
Gremlina.
What you got for me?
Well, in ending, kind of, hopefully this isn't too long, you get lost in the question, but how would you describe your feelings on the Munsters overall? Typecasting, and how it's still made you a household name, even though a lot of people hate it. How do you get past those feelings and survive the sometimes cutthroat world of acting?
Well, the typecasting really doesn't work in that position because I was under makeup, and as soon as I left that show, I went over to Disney and continued working, and My Three Sons, and so on and so on and so on, and continued working because I wasn't Eddie Munster anymore. I wasn't wearing pointed ears and, a widow's peak, so that wasn't too much of a problem. But as far as the continuing to work and do this and do that, I was a happy camper until I was like 19 or 20, and then I just decided that I preferred not to work anymore. After I did a Saturday morning show called Lidsville, which was for Sid and Marty Krofft, and when that occurred, then I decided that, maybe I would rather spend some time driving my cars and surfing and getting into some mischief like a lot of people did back in the 60s and 70s.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean it was very acceptable behavior. I can remember looking at the concerts and seeing Woodstock when I was like 13, 14 years old, and I couldn't wait to get old enough to be able to participate in that countercultural lifestyle. And I did a movie for Chuck Jones in 1967 and 68 up in San Francisco, and we were right at the corner of Haight-Ashbury in the heyday of the Dead and the whole Monterey Pop and all that kind of music stuff was going on up there. My first concert I ever went to was Jimi Hendrix, so it was pretty cool stuff.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Well, Gremlina, I'll drag out the DeLorean. We'll go back to the future and you go see Jimi Hendrix. You gonna be happy?
Hey, I would be happy to go back to the 70s and 80s anytime you ask me, my brother, because to me, those were the decades.
Yeah,
well,
they were good times.
I wouldn't really know. I guess late 80s, but then again, not really that much. I guess I did become a fan of the 80s later in life. But regardless of that, Butch, it was awesome having you on today. You
Thank you.
www.munsters.com. You can check out Butch's website and see where he's going to be next. You can go meet Mr. Butch Patrick. It was absolutely an honor, Butch. You made my day.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Have a great night.
Bye-bye, Gremlina.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All righty, and we've had callers calling in. I guess I should have mentioned that we weren't going to be taking callers today. I know it's built into the intro, but sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We're really not based on callers, unfortunately, because some people tend to go a little too far with their phone calls. So I'm not sure who this is on the switchboard, but if you want to listen, go back and check out the archive because we're getting ready to wrap up. As far as that goes, Gremlina, awesome show.
Oh, I now know why. I now remember why I had a crush on him. Great guy.
Oh yeah, very, very kind and always willing to help people. And that's what you like to hear.
Hey, I don't think you've had a bad day.
Well, not a bad one necessarily. September 26th, that's tomorrow. I think it's the last show we're going to have for a few days. Actress Christine Barger is going to be joining us, best known for appearances in American Pie Beta House, Maid of Honor, and Along Came Polly. September 28th, I don't think is going to work out. I still haven't heard back from that person. The 30th is our big 3-year bash. We got Antonio Palazzolo from Barter Kings on A&E. We got former WWF referee Mac McMurray, actor Norman D. Golden II, Susan Lanier from The Hills Have Eyes, and Pawn Stars Olivia Black. The first at 4 p.m. Central Time, we welcome former WWF and NWA superstar Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Hands of Stone.
Yeah. October 2nd, we welcome actor Mark Grau, who played Mario, Luigi, and Bowser in Hotel Mario, Mr. Zircon and Ratchet & Clank, and also is the narrator for Alaska State Troopers. Our former alumni, Chris Anglin, a.k.a. John F. Kennedy, is going to be joining us as our special celebrity co-host.
Cool.
October 6th. What's that?
I noticed on the flyer you're going to have a lot of celebrity co-hosts coming up.
Yeah, you're still going to be here. I hope you don't think you're not being allowed to call in.
Oh,
Just
hell
been
no.
something I've been trying to get going.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
Yeah, I know. There has been, I've been trying to get it for a few years as celebrity co-host, so, yep, they are going to be coming. October 6th, we welcome actor and special effects creator Cleve Hall. He's been seen in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Troll, and Face Off. October the 8th, we welcome the dueling Ronald Union, as I've coined it, featuring Bev Bergeron, who played Ronald McDonald from 1966 to 1968, and Squire Friedel, who played Ronald McDonald from 1984 to 1991. And actress Jane Park Smith is going to be co-hosting that one. She has been best seen at Bring It On, In It to Win It, and Quarantine. She was also on the show a few months back. October the 9th, we welcome Jonathan Joss, best known as John Redcorn on King of the Hill. He was also in Tina Johnson, Family Vacation, Almost Heroes, and Parks and Recreation. The 13th, we welcome Star Spike TV's Tattoo Rescue, Joey Tattoo. The 15th at 10 p.m. Central Time, we got our big R-rated Rapture show, so if you're under 18 or you don't think you can handle it, just don't tune in that time. That's why I'm making it 10 p.m. again. This is only the second time in over 3 years of us being G-rated that we've done it. So it's going to be awesome. Olivia Black's going to be on that one. Brandon and the Warrior coming back. Me and you. And my old pal, Vinny the Guido, is going to be here.
Oh, God.
Grimlene is like, wait, what, Vinny the Guido?
Hey, batten down the hatches, people. It's not called R-rated.
Oh, yeah. You can't have a G-rated show and bring on the Underground King Internet Radio. I mean, Vinny's going to go off. He's just bound to. The 16th, we have our classic Cloverleaf replay from 2008 with Rage Mike Miller. The very first show I ever did. I'm actually going to play it all the way through, and feel free to critique me, Grimlina. Holly Maxwell from the Ike Turner Review is also going to be returning on that show. The 18th, we got rapper Roulette Delgato, who's going to be talking about being born in the pen. So that's going to be really interesting to listen about how you can be born in prison and still make something of yourself. And the last scheduled show for now, October 20th, actor Mark Thompson, best known for numerous film and television shows, a radio show, and for work in The Princess Diaries and Rocky V, among others. So there you go.
We're jam-packed, you know.
You know it. We are always jam-packed.
I appreciate it. I was talking to Steve in Rhode Island. You know what might be best? I may get you to get Corey or somebody to make up a flyer with contact information for you, and I'll give out flyers to people I meet up in Rhode Island, potential guests.
That'd be cool. That'd probably be a lot easier than having to send you all these friggin' business cards, and I'm still waiting on my Hollywood shot glass.
I'm sitting here looking at it. Hey.
You always say that.
I still have the copy of the Glow documentary that the producers sent to Rhode Island Comic-Con that we couldn't get to work last year, that I haven't returned yet, okay? It ain't just you, sweetie.
It's all good. The 646 number keeps calling in, so I keep hanging up on them. It's like a little game.
What number?
646, New York area, the same one we use as our guest call-in number. They've been trying all show to get on, and even though I mentioned we're not taking callers, they still keep calling in. So I've mentioned you can go listen on the computer.
It can't be Petey. He's 718 or something.
Yeah, it's not Petey. I have no idea. But we are going to get ready to go because we're out of time.
Yeah,
551, call back in.
If you can get Corey or yourself or somebody to make up a real decent flyer with information on how to contact you if somebody wants to be a guest, and I'll put them at my table, and when I meet, because I'll probably be sitting with the wrestlers. So, I'll give Axe and Smash one, I'll give Kevin Nash one, I'll give Danny Davis one. I think we got Lynn Dykstra coming, Howard Finkel. I'll pass them out around.
Well, yeah, you said Kenny Dykstra. He was on the show earlier this year.
Was it Kenny Dykstra? I think it is, yes. Kenny Dykstra is going to be sitting at the wrestling area with us, with Axe and Smash and Kevin Nash and Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Smash and Kevin Nash.
Yeah, and Superfly Snuka brother and me and the Fink.
Oh, the Jimmy Snuka, baby. Gotta do the leapfrogging, baby. Superfly.
And then, of course, I'll get with the Star Wars gang and get you maybe some bounty hunters on.
Cool.
I'll get, seeing that I'll be working karaoke with Nicholas Brendan from Buffy, I'll try to get a Buffy person on. I'll see what I can do, but like I said, if you send me a flyer, and I know nobody at my work listens, so I can say this, I'll print them out in color on our good color printer up there.
They might be listening. The government is always listening, Grimlina.
Hey, they don't give a crap about what I do when I'm not working. All they care about is what I produce when I'm there. So,
well, hopefully you're producing good amounts. But we're going to be back tomorrow. Christine Barger. It's going to be great talking about American Pie Beta House. Love it. Grimlina, her work is probably a little too new for your taste.
I saw American Pie. I do watch comedy movies. I'm not just a horror, sci-fi, action, adventure person.
Well, I hung up on Mike Pollock, who was supposed to be co-hosting today. He's saying thanks for dubbing Mike Paul a dozen times.
Up and up. Hey, look at it this way. Oh, by the way, if you get a chance, rent it, buy it, Netflix it, check out Iron Man 3. Well worth it. Great flick.
All righty. Well, it's time to jump off here, Grimlina. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. Then we got a few days off, and I'm headed to the fair Sunday. I'm going to get Lizard Lick. I'm going to meet Ron and Amy from Lizard Lick Tones.
Sweet. All right, Grimlina. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.
We will. Talk to you later.